morning students. From this video we are going to start with the next chapter of plant physiology, that is photosynthesis. Now what is the definition of photosynthesis? How do we define photosynthesis? Photosynthesis can be defined as it is the formation of sugar, that is glucose. What is the formula for glucose? C6H12O6. So production of glucose from what? From inorganic compounds like carbon dioxide and water. And what is released in the process? Oxygen is released in the process. Photosynthesis occurs in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Sunlight and chlorophyll. If you balance the reaction, you will get 6CO2 plus 12 molecules of H2O gives C6H12O6, that is glucose, plus oxygen, plus again release of the water molecules. Okay, so this is the reaction of photosynthesis. Fine. Now, who is going to carry out photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is carried out by, photosynthesis is carried out by green plants. It is carried out by different types of algae, that is red, brown and green algae. Photosynthesis is also carried out by cyanobacteria, that is blue-green algae, as well as some phototropic bacteria and some unicellular or multicellular, some unicellular protists are carrying out the process of photosynthesis. Okay. Now, from this reaction, we are going to see some history of some scientists who have discovered different things over here. Why I am taking it in the reaction? So that you understand, or you will be able to relate it to whatever I am telling you, the history of scientists. First, we will talk about the history of oxygen. Who discovered oxygen? So, oxygen was discovered by a scientist called as Joseph Priestley. Joseph Priestley in the year 1774. Okay, and he carried out one experiment on photosynthesis in which he took mint, mice and candle. Mint, mice and candle. Okay, now what he did was he placed a bell jar around the mint, which was a plant. There was a candle which was taken and there was a mice. He observed that in the presence of the mint म्हणजे पुदिना, एक छोटंसं झाड, plant. In the presence of mint, this candle was able to glow and the mice was able to survive. Okay, but in case the mint was removed, then the candle used to get extinguished and the mice used to die. Why? It was because in the presence of mint, what is mint? It is a plant. So mint is going to release oxygen. In the presence of oxygen, the candle used to glow and the mice used to survive, but in its absence, both of them died. That is, the candle extinguished and the mice died. Thus, Joseph Priestley, he showed that oxygen is very, very important for the survival of the plants. And these plants, the plants which release oxygen, it is very important for the candle to remain in its condition of in which it was producing the flame, as well as it was important for the mice to survive. So thus Joseph Priestley discovered oxygen. So this was regarding oxygen. Okay, now let us talk about this glucose. who discovered glucose and how it came into picture. Now, the presence of glucose was demonstrated by Julius von Sachs. Julius von Sachs. He showed that glucose was the first product of photosynthesis and glucose was ultimately converted into starch. So glucose किस में convert होता है? Starch में convert होता है. We say that reserve food in the plant is starch. So glucose is first produced by photosynthesis and it is converted. The storage form of food in plants is starch. So it is converted into starch. He also demonstrated, Julius von Sachs also demonstrated that chlorophyll is located in chloroplast. Chlorophyll is located in chloroplast. Okay, so this was the second scientist about Julius von Sachs. Let us talk about the third scientist now, and we are going to focus. So this we have finished about glucose. Now we are going to focus on the nature or the presence of sunlight. Okay, or the importance of sunlight in photosynthesis. So now, sunlight. The importance of sunlight was given by Jan Ingenhouse. Jan Ingenhouse. And he demonstrated or he showed that the fouled air was purified by the presence of oxygen which was generated due to sunlight. So he demonstrated that fouled air means what? The air which contains CO2. It was purified. Fouled air was purified. That means the fouled air which contained carbon dioxide was purified to contain oxygen, and this happens in the presence of only sunlight. Now what he did? He carried out one experiment on aquatic plant, that is hydrilla. Now you have been studying the experiment with hydrilla plant right from 6th or 7th standard. So he took one beaker in which he took water and he placed one small tube in which he took the hydrilla plant. So this is the hydrilla plant. This hydrilla, it is an aquatic plant, and this complete setup he placed in sunlight. Now, when this was placed in sunlight, he observed that small bubbles of oxygen were released only in the part of the plant when it was exposed to sunlight. The same setup, if it was taken in the dark, then no oxygen bubbles could be seen. Okay, so he demonstrated that sunlight is very essential for the production of CO2 and it is used to purify the foul air. Foul air matlab kaun sa air which contains carbon dioxide. Alright. So with this we have finished with the role of three scientists. Okay, once again I am going to revise it for you. Oxygen was discovered by Joseph Priestley in 1774 and he carried out which experiment which was in which he took mint, candle and mice. Second, we saw about the presence of glucose. Presence of glucose was demonstrated by Julius von Sachs, in which he showed that glucose is getting converted into starch and chlorophyll is located in chloroplast. Third scientist was Jan Ingenhouse, who showed the presence of sunlight as very important to purify the foul air which contain carbon dioxide, and for the formation of oxygen sunlight was required, and he carried out experiment on which plant? Hydrilla plant. What is hydrilla plant? It is a freshwater aquatic plant. Okay, so this was about the names of three scientists. Why I am focusing on this? Because in your NCERT books they have mentioned about the three experiments and these three scientists. So if we link it with the reaction, it would be probably it would become easier for you all to remember whatever is being taught. Okay, now let us see the reaction or the nature of photosynthesis over here. Fine. Now, if you look at the reaction carefully, you will observe that photosynthesis is a redox reaction. Photosynthesis is a redox reaction. What is the meaning of a redox reaction? Oxidation and reduction is taking place simultaneously. Now, in this photosynthesis reaction, what is getting oxidized and what is getting reduced? So, you observe that this water is getting oxidized to release oxygen. So water क्या हो रहा है? Water का oxidation हो रहा है. Water का oxidation होता to release oxygen. And what is happening with the carbon dioxide? The carbon dioxide is getting reduced. Carbon dioxide is getting reduced to form glucose. So carbon dioxide is getting reduced to form glucose. So in the reaction, CO2 is getting reduced to glucose and water is getting oxidized to release oxygen. Therefore, we say that photosynthesis is a redox reaction. Okay. Now, photosynthesis is also described as anabolic process. Anabolic process. Like we have seen, respiration was amphibolic, but more appropriately we can say it is catabolic because it is involving the breakdown of the respiratory substrate, right? Photosynthesis is purely anabolic. Why? Because it is meant for synthesizing something. And what is prepared in photosynthesis? Glucose from carbon dioxide and water. म्हणजे ग्लूकोज तैयार हो रहा है, ग्लूकोज तैयार हो रहा है from carbon dioxide and water. So since it is a synthesis or preparation reaction, we name it as anabolic. Am I clear with this? Okay. Yes. Now, in this reaction, we saw that oxygen is released. But there were many schools of thought which used to say that oxygen, that means there was some kind of a confusion or kind of debate regarding the oxygen, regarding this evolution of oxygen, that the oxygen is coming from water or the oxygen is coming from carbon dioxide. So हे oxygen जे तयार होतं ते कुठनं येतंय? Is it coming from water or is it coming from carbon dioxide? So many schools of thought were there regarding this evolution of oxygen. And now we are going to see the different scientists how they try to prove regarding the evolution of oxygen. Okay. So now some more scientists views regarding the source of oxygen. Source of oxygen and different views by different scientists. So the first scientist was Van Niel. Van Niel, very very important. Now, what did Van Niel say? Van Niel, he carried out the studies on purple sulfur bacteria, and he observed that, or he concluded that oxygen, not oxygen, hydrogen from an oxidizable substrate hydrogen from an oxidizable substrate is used to reduce carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. Van Meel carried out studies on purple sulfur bacteria and he proved that hydrogen from an oxidizable substrate was used to reduce carbon dioxide to form carbohydrates. Now what he did was, suppose his oxidizable substrate was AH2 and in the presence of carbon dioxide, this substrate was getting oxidized to form carbohydrates and water. Okay, and this oxidizable substrate, it was not water in case of bacteria, but it was H2S. That means if the phototrophic bacteria like purple sulfur bacteria, instead of using water, when they used hydrogen sulfide, they used to deposit sulfur and not oxygen. Now suppose we carry out this reaction, the same reaction if we write by using hydrogen sulfide, then see how the reaction goes. Hydrogen sulfide plus CO2. That means instead of water, we are taking hydrogen sulfide over here. Then what do you get? There is a deposition of sulfur in the presence of oxygen, in the place of oxygen, plus there was formation of carbohydrates and water. Okay, so this was the reaction in case of purple sulfur bacteria. That is, sulfur was deposited in place of oxygen. That means from this reaction we can prove that oxygen is not released from carbon dioxide, but it is released from water, because in place of water, if hydrogen sulfide is used, sulfur is deposited and not oxygen. Okay, so this was regarding first scientist, that is Van Meel. Now let us talk about the second scientist, that was Robert Hill. So second scientist was Robert Hill. We also call this reaction as Hill reaction. Now, what did Robert Hill do? Robert Hill, he suspended isolated chloroplast from spinach in water. So these were isolated chloroplast. This was water, and very important, this was illuminated. This medium was free from carbon dioxide, so no CO2 medium, and in this medium he placed certain hydrogen acceptors, which we also call it as Hill reagents, like dichlorophenol, iodophenol, or chromids. Now, after the reaction, he observed that since the medium was free from CO2, he observed that his Hill reagents were getting reduced. So these were in the oxidized form and these Hill reagents were getting reduced. So he demonstrated the presence of a natural reagent which was used to reduce carbon dioxide to carbohydrates, and the natural Hill acceptor which was demonstrated was NADH, NADP, NADP. What is the full form of NADP? Like in respiration we saw nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, and this nicotinamide is a natural hill reagent which was accepting hydrogen, and which is important, which was accepting hydrogen from water and getting reduced. So in the presence of water, this nicotinamide is getting reduced to form NADPH, and oxygen was getting released. So obviously it is very clear that oxygen is coming from water, and since there was no CO2 in the medium, so CO2 नाहीच आहे medium मध्ये, फक्त water आहे. So oxygenचा source काय असेल? Water असेल, कारण CO2 तर प्रेझेंटच नाहीये इकडे, right? And his natural hill acceptor which he put, means oxidizable compound which he used, was dichlorophenol, which was getting reduced. But after research it was observed that naturally plants मध्ये hydrogen acceptor कोण असतो? So it is NADP, which is getting reduced in the presence of water to form NADPH. It is reduced form of nicotinamide. Okay. Now what is the significance of NADPH? You will ask me, what is the significance of NADPH? So we have seen in the photosynthesis reaction that carbon dioxide is reduced to form glucose, right? So since carbon dioxide is reduced to form glucose, carbon dioxide पासून आपल्याला glucose मिळतो. If this is the reaction, then there has to be some source who is providing hydrogen. Okay, so hydrogen are removed from water, म्हणजे water is getting splitted to form hydrogen and oxygen, where oxygen is getting released. But this hydrogen is accepted by NADP, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, and NADP is getting reduced to form NADPH. Now this NADPH is actually donating its hydrogen to carbon dioxide to form this glucose. Am I clear with this? That means reaction of photosynthesis is occurring in steps. Water is splitted to form hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen is accepted by NADP. NADP is naturally present in plants. NADP is getting reduced. After its reduction, it is giving hydrogen to carbon dioxide to form carbohydrates. Okay. Thus, we say photosynthesis is a redox reaction where there is oxidation as well as reduction. Oxidation of what? Water. And reduction of what? Carbon dioxide. Alright, so about this was about the Hill reaction. And Hill reagent are these Hill reagents. Generally question is asked on this dichlorophenol, iodophenol or chromates, which are Hill reagents, which are oxidizable substrates which are getting reduced by the hydrogen which is released when the water splits. Okay, the medium was made CO2 free in order to show that oxygen is coming from water and not from CO2, right? So this was the fifth scientist which we have discussed about, and now one more scientist will discuss, that was Reuben and Kamen. So now the sixth scientist, Reuben and Kamen. Now what did Reuben and Kamen do? Reuben and Kamen, they radioactively, they labeled oxygen. So there was a radioactive label on oxygen, that is radioactive label on water, and this was O18. So what they did was they carried out this reaction in which they took carbon dioxide and water, but this water was labeled with a heavy isotope of oxygen, that is with radioactively labeled oxygen, that is 18O, and it was observed that there was formation of glucose plus there was release of oxygen. But now, what do you expect? Where this labeled oxygen will go? This labeled oxygen was, this labeled oxygen was formed, or it was found, the label was found in this free oxygen which was released. Okay, and it was not observed in the carbohydrates, or it was not observed in carbon dioxide, because carbon dioxide directly forms glucose, and water is getting oxidized to form oxygen. Since label was observed on the oxygen, it was proved that oxygen is coming from water but not from carbon dioxide. Okay, so these were some scientists who tried to prove that oxygen comes from water and not from carbon dioxide. Okay, so six scientists we have done up till now. Three scientists who proved different things, and three scientists who proved about the source of oxygen. Which were the three scientists? First was Van Meele, who carried out experiment on purple sulfur and green sulfur bacteria. Second scientist was Robert Hill, who used spinach chloroplast and no CO2 medium. And third was Ruben and Kamen, who demonstrated, who radioactively labeled oxygen from water and proved that the source of oxygen was water and not carbon dioxide. Okay, am I clear with this? So this was about the history of scientists. Now, next part we'll discuss is regarding the structure of chloroplast. Yes, first we will see that maximum photosynthesis, maximum photosynthesis is carried out, about 90% of photosynthesis is carried out in the ocean, that is aquatically, it is carbon is fixed, and about 10% of photosynthesis is carried out by the land plants. Okay, second, what is PAR? PAR. PAR stands for photosynthetically, photosynthetically active radiation. Photosynthetically active radiation. Now, you know that the range of visible light is from what? It is from 390 nanometers up to 700 nanometers. Okay, so the photosynthetically active radiation, it is ranging from about 390 to 700 nanometer. So the PAR is a part of the visible light in which maximum photosynthesis occurs between, so maximum photosynthesis takes place in the blue and red region of the spectrum, which is photosynthetically active range. Particularly, red light, which is having less energy, is very efficient in photosynthesis. Okay, though photosynthesis takes place in both the regions, up to blue and red region of the spectrum, red light is very effective in photosynthesis because it is having less energy. Okay, there is no role of green energy, no role of green light in case of photosynthesis. That is why we observe the color of the leaves as green, because green light is reflected by the leaves. Blue and red light are absorbed and green is reflected. So minimum, that is zero photosynthesis, takes place in the green light of the spectrum. Okay, fine. Now we will see what is the structure of chloroplast, because chloroplast is very important. We have seen in the definition that photosynthesis is carried out by the chlorophyll pigments. And where are these chlorophyll pigments located? They are located in the chloroplast. So let us have a brief idea about chloroplast. You are studying the structure of chloroplast, but here we will have a general view of chloroplast. So, structure of chloroplast. Now, chloroplast, you know the color is green. Where is the chloroplast located? Chloroplast, about 500,000 of chloroplast are found per square millimeter of leaves. And most of the chloroplasts are located in the mesophyll areas of the leaves. Mesophyll region, you know the leaf is having two regions like mesophyll and spongy parenchyma. So most of the chloroplasts are located in the mesophyll region of the leaves. And the alignment of chloroplast also changes depending upon the intensity of light. Alignment changes according to the light intensity. That is, the chloroplast will be arranged parallel to they will be arranged parallel to the lateral walls. They'll be arranged parallel to the walls during case of high light intensity, and they will be arranged tangential to the walls during moderate light intensity. Now, why the chloroplast changes its position? It is because it has to align itself in order to achieve or in order to get maximum sunlight. Okay. Now we will see the diagram of chloroplast. Chloroplast is having two membranes. It is a double layered structure, and in chloroplast there are stacks of structures which are called as grana. Okay, a single unit of grana is called as thylakoid. Inside the chloroplast there is DNA. We know it is a semi-autonomous organelle, and the DNA of chloroplast is called as plastidome. Okay, let us label the two membranes. This is the outer membrane. This is the inner membrane of chloroplast. These are stacks of coin-like structures which are called as grana. Singular is granum, and that means all these are grana. One unit of one single structure we call it as granum. One disc of the granum is called as thylakoid. Now, what does thylakoid contain? These thylakoids, very important. Thylakoids contain photosynthetic pigments which are arranged in units which are called as quantasomes. Very important. So, thylakoids contain photosynthetic pigments which are organized as quantasomes. We will talk about quantasomes later on once again. Now, chloroplast contain stroma. Stroma. What does the stroma contain? Stroma contains the stored food which is in the form of starch. Stroma also contain ribosomes. Which type of ribosomes will be present in chloroplast? They will be of 70S type of ribosomes. Okay, so it contains starch, it contains ribosomes. Also, stroma contains the enzymes for dark reaction of photosynthesis. Now, what is the meaning of dark reaction? Photosynthesis takes place in two stages. That is, we saw there is splitting of water. Splitting of water is carried out by the grana. Okay, so they carry out the light reaction of photosynthesis. During light reaction, water splits to release oxygen as well as hydrogen. Then we saw this hydrogen is accepted by NADP to form NADPH, and then in the dark reaction, this NADPH is going to reduce carbon dioxide to form glucose. So this reaction, reduction of carbon dioxide to glucose, is called as dark reaction. Dark reaction is called dark reaction. Why? Does it occur in the dark? It is not like that. Rather, it does not require light. That means it does not require direct sunlight to occur. Dark reaction can happen in the light also, but there is no direct involvement of light. म्हणजे डार्क रिॲक्शनला लाईट असला तरी चालतो, पण लाईटची गरज नाहीये. ओके, and dark reaction is reduction of carbon dioxide to glucose, which is carried out by different enzymes located in the stroma of chloroplast. Light reaction is carried out in the grana of chloroplast, which are made up of thylakoids, which contain different photosynthetic pigments organized into quantasomes. Alright, okay, and now these grana are connected, and these connections of the grana are called as Fret membranes, Fret membranes, or they are also called as intergranal lamellae. Fret membranes or intergranal lamellae. Okay, so this is regarding the structure of chloroplast. We are going to talk about the dark reaction and the light reactions in detail. Just understand the basic concept over here. की लाईट रिॲक्शन होते ग्रॅनामध्ये, डार्क रिॲक्शन होते स्ट्रोमामध्ये. लाईट रिॲक्शनला लाईटचा प्रेझेन्स लागतो, डार्क रिॲक्शनला लाईटचा प्रेझेन्स लागत नाही, पण लाईट असेल तरी बिघडत नाही. ओके, dark reaction requires enzymes, light reaction requires photosynthetic pigments. Then we saw chloroplast ka general design. It contains DNA, it contains ribosomes, it contains stored food in the form of starch, etc. etc. So this was about the structure of chloroplast. In the next video lecture, we'll be seeing the different photosynthetic pigments, how they are located in thylakoids, and how they help in the photosynthesis reaction. I hope this part is clear to all of you. If you have any doubts, then you can put it in the comment box. Thank you very much.